Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? It is GunterMan from the GunterMan Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everyone feeling? Was it a good week? Was it? Was it a good week? For me, it was fantastic. I had a really exceptional week. And it wasn't all about the things that I got to do, but it was really about the people I got to speak to and spend time talking to about so many different things that are going on, not only in their lives, but they actually asked questions. So I was able to share bits and pieces of myself with them. And if you have a passion to serve, if you have a passion to show up and be there for the world around you, then you're going to know that those feelings, those opportunities feels like gems, feels like diamonds, things you want to hold fast to and just not let go. You know, it's amazing the things that people will pour out to you. When you have a heart for service, somehow, some way, people know that they can tell you their truth. Some way, somehow, people know that it's okay to be the real version of themselves. You know, and that alone is freeing. It's, you know, you got to think about, so many of us are walking around every single day as maybe like products of our environment. That's probably the best way of saying it. You know, need it be our childhood, need it be the things that we went through in relationships, how we dealt with mom and dad. If dad wasn't around or mom wasn't around, all the stuff you had to deal with there. You know, we are all shaped in some way, shape, or form by the things that we've been through. But is that our actual truth? Is that who we really are? You know, oftentimes when I would ask someone, you know, who are they? Like, tell me about you. The first thing they will pretty much always talk about is what they do for a living. But is what you do for a living who you really are? Is it? I'll allow you to answer that question. For me, who I am is the things that I feel is great and amazing and bubbly about myself. Like the things that, how I love to serve. If you ask me who I am a servant. But I'm also a servant leader. Like someone who wants to take charge and wants to give some type of help and guidance to people achieving their goals. So I'm also the same person that's humble enough to take direction and to be corrected. Like, correct me. I don't mind being corrected because I only know what I know. And what I know isn't everything there is to know. So there has to be more information, more things that I can hold fast to and to glean from and to be, you know, and to let go. You know, so often we're always endeavoring to become something. How about unbecoming something? Think about that. How about unbecoming something? You know, where I shared last week, when was the last time you made a list of things to do, things, goals, and all the things that you would want to take on? But when did you ever write a list of the things you want to stop doing? A list of things that you no longer want to do? Because you got to remember that as you're interacting with the world around you, are you going to constantly be swayed by the rhythm and the habits of the world around you? Or did somehow, some way, God has placed a dream inside your heart, a vision inside your heart, a purpose, a calling, something inside your heart? Do you have a higher power that's giving you guidance on who you should be in this day, time, and hour? And what need can you actually meet? See, the world is full of needs. The world is full of needs, and we are full of needs. But you have been specifically called out to do something, to meet a specific need in your day, time, and hour. You personally have been called out to rise up and to lift people to new heights. Yes, you, no matter what you've been through. Like this, earlier this week, I had this opportunity, and I could almost get emotional about it, but I had this opportunity to speak to a guy who was sent to me by a person who I used to do parties at his facility. You know, for those who don't know, the outside of the motivational speaking and relationship counseling type of things that I do, I'm also an MC. I'm a high-end MC that does parties all over the U.S. My job is to go there and to hype up the crowd and get people dancing and partying. Well, this facility, this country club that I usually visit, had a guy that I really got along with. His name was Jason. Well, he's been watching my life on social media for a very long time, and he noticed what I've been doing regarding this relationship life coaching thing, and he recommended this guy to talk with me. Well, let me tell you, boy, did it hit my heart. He's a guy who's dealing with over 20 years of addiction, in and out of prison, and he just wants to do something with his life. So about 6 years ago, he started a men's group in a church. Like, how powerful of a turnaround can that be? Like, and his desire was so great, but he was kind of beating himself up still. Even though he was doing the thing for the men's group in the church, he was still beating himself up about the things that he'd done in the past and the things that he's been through. And I had to stop him and remind him that everything, every single thing that has happened in your life, the good, the bad, and especially the ugly bits, the things that you might have caused, the things that you have done, that those specific things are exactly what the world around you needs to hear. How did you make it out? How did you deal with it? What have you done since then? People want to know those type of things. People want to know, like, how did you get through that? You know, now you're 20 years of dealing with that substance and struggling with all that stuff. And I had to remind him that, don't you understand that your specific life has been, your specific life has been so designed to meet the needs of the people that God has placed around you, that you being the real version of yourself, you sharing boldly about the things that you have done wrong and the things that you have had to struggle with, that it's going to lift the people up around you. You never know what other people have been through. You can only guess at some of the things, but you have to understand that you have value. Your story has value. And you hear me say to you time and time again, life doesn't happen to you. What if life happens for you? That everything that you have been through and the stuff that you're still going and dealing with right now is allowing you to be catapulted to this new level, this new way of being, this new way of seeing things, that you can help the world around you with your presence, with your words, for simply just showing up. Am I making sense to you guys so far? Am I making sense? Think about it. You know, like, these are the things that we struggle with. You know, say if you've been fortunate enough to get a glimpse of who you're supposed to be from God. Remember, after you get that image of who you're supposed to be, the things that you can do, you know, you're motivated to get started on that. But you got to remember, once you leave God's presence, once you get that type of clarity of mind on what you were called to do and what your purpose is. After you get that stuff, guess what you got to do? Go back into the real world. Deal with the confusion and the problems and the disbelief of other people. You got to surround yourself in the midst of that stuff and still hold fast to your dream. Still hold fast to the thing that you've been called to do, and to do it the way that God told you to do it, the way He set it up for you, not to be swayed and influenced by the others, by the other things. He has given you a vision. Would you dare now to step out and live it? Would you dare to step out and live it the way that He set it up? You know, and that's where the struggle comes. You know, I grew up a Bronx boy. New York City, Bronx, but I'm a Bronx boy, that's right. You know, at the time of growing up, it was one of the roughest places in America to grow up. I grew up in the projects, Sedgwick Housing Projects, University Avenue, 174th Street. That's right, that's how I grew up. Then from there, we moved to Mount Vernon, New York when I was around 10 years old, and it was a completely different lifestyle, a completely different way of living and seeing things. People had teams and sports and tennis courts and basketball courts, football fields and baseball fields. In the projects, all we had was basketball courts. We had a Scalesy board on the floor. We had a spaceship and water sprinklers, and that was it. If you were a kid, you didn't have any other thing going for you. You just didn't have access to any other thing because you were just surrounded by a bunch of buildings with parks in the middle of these little pockets. And that's how I grew up. Well, as life goes on, you realize as you take on these new stages of life, moving to Mount Vernon was such a different way of living and seeing things that when I went back to hang out with my friends in the Bronx, I realized how limited their life was with opportunities and how much I was able to get into and to do in this new space and place. Well, you could have the same commercials being played on your TV, but as a kid growing up in the projects, I never saw myself having any of that stuff on TV. But when we moved to Mount Vernon and you saw the kids actually out there playing on the things that you saw on TV, it was just different. And I'm saying all this to say that as life goes on, you're going to take on these new ways of seeing things and feeling about things and new understandings. And we're all fighting to live this inner truth. Every single one of us, we're all fighting to live this inner truth that you've been called to live. And if you were brave enough, courageous enough, vulnerable enough to be that person, no matter who's in your presence, imagine the things that you will do. Well, one of the things that changed my life was momentum education. And because of momentum education, this is one of the reasons I have our guest with us tonight, Nate on bass, Nate Jones on bass, because this was one of the brothers I took the workshop with. There was about 61 of us. Now, understand this. You're walking in a place because you have a desire to live the truest version of yourself. You have a desire to understand what you need to do to operate from that position of this true version of yourself. And that's what the momentum education did for us. It shined light and it asked questions. It had exercises that caused you to think, that caused you to come with it and to be real with it. It asked you questions over and over and over again until you had some form of a breakthrough. It was 4 days of real tough talk, but you had a support system. You had people that really genuinely cared. Now, this guy right here, Nate Jones on bass, was one of those dudes who kind of just stood out. When I say stood out, just stood out. Now, mind you, it wasn't until after momentum when I realized that, wait, I'm watching this show from some restaurant. Oh, you're going to have to help me with this one. Sugar in Manhattan, in Harlem, somewhere, the Sugar Lounge, something like that in Harlem, where my friend is posting a live video of the show going on, and on a stool, playing the bass. I'm like, yo, that looks like my boy Nate. That can't be Nate. No, that can't be Nate. Now, because we're doing 4 day workshop. No one knew what he did for a living. And I'm like, why is my man is rocking and singers are coming up. And I'm like, yo, that's Nate. That's crazy. Well, who knew that the same dude who was in the workshop that had a genuine care for the people that was there in the workshop. I could feel it, and I can feel it just talking about it now. He was a dude that constantly, he was moving through the crowd, sharing his story, and he was checking on people. He was giving energy towards the things that we were endeavoring to do. He wasn't a part of the leadership, but he was moving as someone who genuinely wanted you to be the best version of yourself. In 4 days, he left a mark on so many of us. But I'm not going to talk too much because I want you guys to meet this guy. He is a musician who is dealing right now today with some of the most top artists in the music, hip hop, and R&B industry. It is truly my honor. It is truly my privilege to bring to you live on screen Nate Jones on bass. Make some noise, show some love, give me some hearts and all that good stuff. To appreciate him showing up today. Nate Jones, where you at, bro? Where you at?
Um,
There you go. There you go. What up, man?
what's up, man? Can you see me?
Man, I can see you. I can see you. I can definitely see you.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, yeah. I would say maybe you could maybe sit a little lower, just so we could see you. There you go.
That better?
Perfect. There you go. I'm actually
Yeah,
positioning
I got
mine
like
too.
this light over here is going crazy. Let me move this light.
Yeah. Move it in a way so it could be facing you. So it shines on you where you don't have this halo behind you, even though I can see you're already heaven sent.
Nah,
I'm working it, bro. I'm
I'm going.
working it.
I'm going to pay you to say these nice things so people can hear it.
Man, listen, Nate, come on. Like we could joke about this, and we could joke and we could laugh, do the talk crap about each other. But in truth, you really moved people that those 4 days. You gave of yourself. You wasn't a part of leadership, but you gave of yourself. You took time to talk to people. We didn't know what you did. We didn't know you were Nate Jones. Come on. You're laughing, but think about I could have all these people here live on. You could think about some of the hottest, your favorite artists, even up to this New Year celebration with Ryan Seacrest. He's out there.
Oh, yeah, that was
He's
amazing.
out there on stage doing COVID, out there bringing the music from Jennifer Lowe. I mean, just artists after Jay-Z, the artists and artists and artists. Stevie Wonder. Come on, it's the endless. J. Cole's. Come on, there's this ton. Justin Timberlake. The artists, it's endless amount of artists that you are dealing with, that you've been on TV with, that you've been on stage with, that you've just maybe just worked some music arrangements in the background with. But none of that mattered at that workshop. None of that.
Oh
No,
no,
we
not at
didn't know
all.
any of that. Like, who knew? All I knew is you're a dude that had some funky silver sneakers.
I had silver sneakers on one of those days. I definitely did.
Yes. But the way you move with the crowd, especially the day when we had the dance set, we can't detail it. We
Oh
can't we
man,
can't talk about the details of that. But that you showed out. Come on, you showed
it was
out.
it
You
was it
showed
was a,
out.
it was a release.
Yeah,
It
because
was
it was a
definitely a release.
rough 4 days. It was pulling. It was pulling stuff out of you.
Right.
You might have went there thinking one thing, I'm going to get this out of this situation. By the end of the 4 days, you were talking about and feeling about things that you didn't even consider even was playing a part in the way you carried yourself in everyday life. It was pulling things out of you. At least it did for me. It moved
It
me
definitely
that
did.
much,
It
you
definitely did.
know? So of course, as we say, fours, a whole bunch of fours for those guys. I'm not plugging like Momentum Education, but it's something that really shaped our lives, something that has moved us and impacted us in such a positive way. But here, enough about that. This is your turn. This is your opportunity to share with the world around you bits and pieces of what you're into, what you do. Now, I want you to start off by at least let's talk about your YouTube show because that is something that everyone would want to tap into.
Thank you, brother.
The
Thank
the amount of shows, the backstage passes that this guy has hanging up. Please take the time out to make a little note. Put
you.
put
Oh,
on your note.
I got my
Um,
notebook right here for you.
yes. But I'm talking about the other people. I'm talking about the other people. Put in your notepad stories from the road with Nate Jones on bass. Look it up on YouTube. Stories from the road with Nate Jones on bass. He's going to take you on a journey of the behind the scenes stuff. Of if you love artists, if you love music, and you want to hear some of the stories of what happened behind the scenes, well, he's sharing it. I believe right now he's on his 5th or 6th episode. So
Yes.
he's taking you on a wonderful journey. And the last week's journey put a connection with us, me, and when I say us, I mean me and people from Mount Vernon, New York, because he got started by our boy Mike Phillips, Mike Philly, the
Mm-hmm.
saxophonist.
Yeah.
Who knew that you would have a Mount Vernon connection?
Oh no, Mount Vernon is like that's like my second home. Are you kidding me?
See, who knew?
And
Who
I didn't
knew?
even know you was from the Bronx.
Yeah, I'm from the Bronx originally. And then I
Right
moved to
here.
Mount Vernon. Heck yeah.
I'm
Moved
from
from the
from
Bronx
the
to Mount Vernon.
exactly
You
same place. So we have a lot to talk about off camera too, because I didn't know none of this stuff.
done. Well,
All right.
first, please tell them about your show. Let them feel that.
Okay, stories from the road is something that I came up with during the quarantine. I was sitting down, and man, God put it in my lap to share these stories with the world. Also, I went through a lot of trauma, just losing a lot of people in my life, and
Mm.
when I at their funeral, I didn't think that these people were amazing to me, and they wasn't represented the way I wanted them to be represented. And
Mm.
I realized that no one is going to tell your story except for you. So you know, people that watch me now, they'll know me for playing with the most current or the most popular artists, but they don't know the journey. And a lot of people don't read credits on albums. You know what I'm saying? We're nowadays we're just streaming. We're not buying albums, and you can see who played on these records. So I realized in studying the masters that it's up to me to tell my story, and you'll hear it from me personally. It won't be secondhand, and you know what I mean. Obviously, there's more to the story, and people that were there have their experiences and things of that nature. But the stories from the road is I've accumulated over 300 laminates. Now, laminates are like backstage passes that you get from different tours. Now, I did the Chris Brown tour, Nicki Minaj, the Usher tour, Jay-Z, Estelle, a lot of jazz artist tours, a lot of festivals and things of that nature. And these are things that I keep. And I looked at them during the quarantine. I was like, man, I got to create something. And I want to just show the world what I've done. You know what I mean? Just because I'm working on my legacy. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a beautiful thing. People are really, the response has been amazing, and people are really enjoying it. You know, when you're doing things, because I'm an entertainer and I like to please people. I You know, that's my job. You know, the
That's
quarantine,
what we do
COVID
as
kind of like
entertainers.
it took away my ability to do that, because I run here in New York. I run like 7 speakeasies. I got like 4 clubs, and I provide live entertainment for a lot of different venues. So I'm really good at just reading the room and saying, okay, this is the age bracket. Okay, this is the demographic. Okay, I know exactly what to play. I know exactly what to do. I know exactly what to say just by looking at the people. But when I'm doing something like this, it's a very vulnerable state, because I don't know what people like. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make it short and sweet. Try to keep it under 3 minutes. I don't want to do a elongated 15-minute series, you know. And I partnered with a good friend of mine that we've been knowing each other for almost about 8 to 10 years now. And he was like, "Yo, Dan, I'm down to shoot it." And I was like, "Cool." You know, at first I was shooting it myself, and then I was like, you know what? I really need to step it up, and I have help. So let's use the help that I have that happens to be amazing. So shout out to my man, JP, man, my boy Josh for helping me shoot this thing and helping me bring these ideas to life. You know what I mean? JP Media that's what he goes by.
Yeah,
So
man. You
stories
give
from
him
the
that
road,
plug.
man.
Give him that plug.
Yeah, nah, you have to. And stories from the road. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's it. Yes, sir. You know, it's amazing what this COVID has pulled out of us. This COVID, we don't you understand that we got to decide what this COVID-19 quarantine life would mean to us. We will either choose that it will be a curse or it will be a blessing. It will be either a curse or a blessing. Now, it's no way to get around the friends that I lost. not feeling good about that at all. There's no way I can say that part felt like a blessing, because some good friends, lost some really good friends, you know. But as far as personal life and the things that I got to do now that I probably would have never taken on if this halt, this complete stop. Since March of last year, I have not done a gig. I have not been on a plane to travel here, there, and everywhere to do with this different artists and DJs from California to New York to Cleveland. I didn't get to do any of that stuff since last March. And now we're going on a full year. But what's my takeaway? I have now journeyed into this relationship life coach teaching and showing up for people, giving people a platform to speak their truth, giving people a platform to talk about relationships in the way that they interact with the world. See, everyone deals with life based on the relationships that they've had, the way that they see other people, the way they deal with situations, the way they see situations, and even how they see themselves is all based on relationships. And with that in mind, everyone that I've brought to screen with me has an opportunity to tell their story. Do they have to talk about life, love, relationships? No, but your story is a relationship. It's how in the world did a brother from the Bronx connecting with people in Mount Vernon and now travels the globe with artists that we go crazy for? And now you dare put together a show to feed our need to know more about what happens behind the scenes? Come on, think about that. You get to witness and see, you know, as I think you believe when you talk about in your commercial, Jay-Z walks in the studio and comes out with like 7 albums. You know, that type of, who got to see that? Only a handful of people. Only a handful of people. So I see your screen is still kind of scrolling and loading.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay, I'm back.
Tell us how did you get from start with playing the bass at home, or how did you get that to now start working with artists? And hopefully it won't freeze up too much.
How did I start working with artists?
So did you hear me?
Yeah, just you said how did I grow up working with these kind of artists? I started by playing in church, and playing in church. You know, well, let me start again. Playing in church, and I was playing for a lot of gospel artists. So I work with people like Donnie McClurkin. I work with the Pace Sisters. I work with James Hall, and I was on the Bobby Jones show a few times with different artists. And then you just get into that circle. What I realized, I was in Mount Vernon, and I was playing for a lot of groups in Mount Vernon, and it was just hard for me because I didn't grow up there. So I just started going other places. I went to Brooklyn, and when I got to Brooklyn and I started hanging out over there, opportunities and other doors started opening because I was like the new face. So all of these opportunities started to happen. Then I was like, man, I want to. I seen other musicians that were like higher up in the gospel, so they were like touring with R&B artists, and I was like, man, how do you get that? How do you, like, what's going on? And just seeing their travel, so I was inspired by people like Rufus Jackson and another great bass player, and just.
We got a bit of a slate.
Okay, is it there? And I just moved where the act was. So it started with gospel, and then I started working with people like Life Jennings, and then, you make more connections, and these, Mike Phillips, and then these connections, and that's how it started, and I'm still going,
Yeah, you're definitely still going. Tell me, can you share some of maybe the inner struggles that you had to deal with to achieve this height? Like, were there things that you had to push past? Were there things that you weren't living, this inner you? Were you not always trying to figure out how to be or how to make these things happen? Were there struggles like that you had to break through that can help people that are listening
Yeah,
on how to believe for such things? Because I got a guy here, and I don't know if he logged on or not, but a guy named DJ Believe, where he's just starting in the music industry, where he has this real unique sound and style of music. He's already put out 3 records. Well, we call them records, but 3 songs. He put them out, and he's hungry. He's hungry to know, like, how do you go from being at home, having a passion and a joy, to now making it something that he can actually get to do for a living? How did you get through whatever, and him dealing with life also, how he had to deal with struggles and to come out and to dare to live this real version of himself? Is there anything that you can kind of give to people who want to hear stuff like that?
Some of it went out. I'm back on. I just changed the Wi-Fi service, so now I'm on another. So everything should be good. So you might have to say
Perfect.
that one more time.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all. There are people who have a hunger to live the real version of themselves. And one of the guys I was talking about was a guy named DJ Believe. He's a young guy who has a heart to want to know, like, how do you take this passion for music that he has and turn it into a career? Just like for myself, I have a real passion to serve people. And my desire is, how do I now turn this passion into a career, something that I could do for a living? So what can you give? What gems did you have to struggle through? What situations did you have to mentally go through to get to the place where you're now living your dream? Did you catch all that?
Wi-Fi. I never have issues with this.
His screen's
Some of the
freezing up a
struggles I have.
bunch.
I'm what you call a loner. So I rode by myself.
That's me.
I have like brothers and things of that nature. Can you hear me? Did it go? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, but you're breaking up a little bit. All I heard was, you're a loner. You were a loner, and that was just like me.
Yeah, I was a loner. So I literally wanted to it's breaking up again. Okay. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly now.
Okay, good.
Yes, perfect. Oh, darn it. We're going to have to get...
One of the struggles was just trying to be accepted.
Yeah, you're still breaking up. Yeah, a real bad connection, Nate. Yeah, the connection's real bad. It's just chopping you up.
Will work.
All right.
Is it back?
Yeah, we'll work it. We'll work it.
Okay,
Yep, you're back.
One of the struggles was just trying to break into other people's circles. They have their friends, they have their cliques and stuff like that, and trying to be accepted in the circles. Years, I was like, you know what? Let me just create my own. And in that time, I just said, you know what? Let me. I was in charge of that movement, and I literally wanted to.
We're working it, Nate. Yeah, you're coming in and out like crazy. You're freezing, and then your speech is coming chopped up. And people are hungry. They want to know.
Yeah,
they want to know more.
I want to give it to them, but all right. So again, basically, I was trying to fit into people's circle, and it just wasn't working for me. So after a couple of years, I just created my own, and I said, you know what? I want to make a platform for other people, and in that, I'll get to create. So they won't go through what I went through. So I created something called Taste the Stage, which is a glorified open mic. And man, listen, like, the world has been there. Celebrities, people that, like, we have people on stage that literally can't do anything. And I was like, well, you're going to be a part of this. Today,
Like I look at my journals. I keep a journal. I did my journal. I look back about.
Oh man. You
Who I
know,
wanted to. I didn't know who I wanted to work with. I just.
you
What do you think? You think we should try? Like,
try what the Chef Lioness said. Log out and log back in and see if you get a better connection.
all right, let me try that.
So log out completely and then come back.
Okay.
I'll take the stage back from you. Well, yeah, guys. Well, like I said, technical difficulties, but we're going to keep on rolling because the thing about him sharing his story is that you get to see glimpses of other people's journey to success. So often, we want to pull from what we have experienced to kind of lead us and direct us, but it's not enough. That which we actually know compared to the information that's out there that we either know that we don't know it or exist and we have no clue about it. There is more information out there that we have no true understanding about, that we're trying to go towards our dreams. We're going towards these desires, and yet we think that we can do it on our own. And there is no self-made millionaires. You need to ask questions. You need to get involved. You need to get other people involved. Because if you really want to succeed, it's going to be bits and pieces of other people's lives that's going to join with your life and your vision and your purpose. And it's going to allow you to live it. It's going to allow you to see it in a different way, in a new way. The wonderful thing about, say you talk about this show, the GunterMan show. Yes, I'm a relationship life coach. I'm a motivational speaker. And we talk about all these fantastic things, giving people a better understanding of how to live the love that's inside them, how to live the true version of themselves. You're going to have those moments where you can stop and you can think that that's a better way of seeing that situation. Everyone's dealing with something. Everyone, if you live long enough and you dare to love someone, you've been through something. And it has shaped you and it has swayed you and it has you believing particular things about yourself and about life. But this show is designed in a way to kind of give you an opportunity to have little glimpses of other people's stories that no one's going to tell you to say, well, that's the better way of doing it. No, but you're going to decide that it's a better perspective than what you've been living. And that's the phone calls that I've been getting all week long. Little comments and sayings of people saying that some way, somehow, when they were going through a situation that they were feeling, that I was the person that they wanted to reach out to, or something that I shared in past videos, because I've been doing some men group videos as well as some couple videos that have really been touching or hitting home for some people, because we all have stories. We all have things that we're trying to work through. And together as a group, we're better. We're better together. And if you can dare to live your truth, if you can dare to share your ugly story, tell your ugly business, you're going to find a level of freedom that you continuing to go and achieve new heights that you achieving new heights and still be broken or hidden and beaten down by your secrets isn't really living. Is to release those secrets, is to release those stories and tell people and to dare to get help, because they're the things that's going to allow you to now, as you pursue your dreams, to really start to live it. So many things that we deal with is a reflection of how we see ourselves. If we're not true to ourselves, if we're not honest with ourselves, if we don't even trust ourselves, how will we ever do that to give that honor to someone else? But it looks like Nate's back. So let's jump back in with Nate and see if we can get him up on screen and a good connection. Pray for a good connection in the name of your son, Jesus Christ. Amen. And whatever your higher power is, pray to that right now, because we have people of all walks and all faiths. There it is. Nate Jones on
Hey,
base.
Yeah,
That's
I pray that everything works out now.
Yeah, I just said in Jesus Christ's name, we're going to go. So I'm going to let you go right again. Start from the beginning once again. You talked about these circles that you tried to fit into these circles and you would kind of navigate that. And then you just said, you know what? Let me try my own thing. Let me step out
Yeah.
and do my own thing. And then it took off, the open mic thing. And the last thing we were kind of hearing you say that you got people involved that wasn't even a part of
The
the
show,
thing
right,
that you're.
right, right. And I'll backtrack on that. Also, you want to be persistent. You know, you want to be persistent in what you're after. You first of all, you got to know what you're after. So, like I said, I wrote down almost 25 years ago that I wanted to work with I wanted to just be a part of something great, and I wanted to travel. So I wrote that down, and then I went where the action was. Like I researched, okay, these people over here, and then I networked and did my thing. And then I went and got my I created my own because they wouldn't allow me to get into their circle because I wasn't a part of their circle. And it was challenging because I was like, I know I'm good enough, but there is a relationship thing. It's not about how good you are. So I was like, man, you know what? They inspired me, I'll say inspired, to create my own. And in creating my own, something just man, this network of just amazing people. Taste the Stage is the name of the event. We have an Instagram and stuff like that. But that's what I did. I was just persistent, and that's why we're here.
That is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you say you circumvented the system. You
There you
found
go.
your own way. You know, like you be a trailblazer. You said, hey, well, there's a whole new road I can take.
Right.
You know, and it's funny too because people think to do something absolutely different or off to break from what they're usually seeing. They think it's going to be some type of grand gesture or grand movement. Literally, when you make a change, it's just like this. It's just a little pivot, a little
Yeah.
small pivot. But when down the line, that little pivot leads you and has you in a completely different place
Mm-hmm.
and a different space. And the
Mm-hmm.
stuff that you like, if you had to blaze your own trail, you had to go through the knocks of it. And if you went through the knocks of it, you appreciate it, you treasure it, and you're able to help people journey it because
Right.
you know what it took. You know the rough patches. You know, you knew the ups and downs, the highs and lows, the moments where you needed to slow down and the moments you needed to speed up, the way you needed to weed whack and chop at to make your way through. As you said, you know, it's persistency, it's consistency, and if you were brave enough, you had accountability. Someone that will check you,
Yeah, I
say,
did.
hey, what's up, Nate? What's up with that? That's right. Because even in this
Right.
business, when I'm pursuing my things and I might put up a sideways post, I got my friends that'll call me up like, yo, Rick, yo, that's not a good look. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. Take that down. Whoa. All right, done. That's what you need. Because that's what's gonna lead you. But if people don't know your business, how in the world are they gonna help you? Like I
You
realize.
have to put your not to cut you off. You have to put yourself out there. I like even now when I I do consulting for artists and singers and for everybody. And when I look at your first 10 pictures and you tell me that you're a rapper or you're a singer, and I look at your Instagram and the first 10 to 15 pictures, you're not rapping or singing. So it's just like you gotta put yourself out there, and you don't gotta be Timberland to produce a beat, or you know what I mean, or whoever the elite dancer is to do. All you gotta do is just do it, and you start, and
Correct.
you start, and then you don't stop, and that's it.
Yeah,
It's
I have
really
a
that simple.
yeah, I have a really good friend, and I'm sure she's online. And when I started the business, is one thing that she kind of drilled in my head. You know, you have to be consistent. You got to be consistent. If you're gonna do a particular thing, you got to keep doing it that way over and over and
Right, right,
over and over again, because then it's gonna stick. You can't be all over the place. You just can't be all over the place and expect people to follow.
right.
You know, So it's a journey. It's daring. It's daring because you have all this passion, you have all these talents, and you have these skills and ability. But how do you pull them out of you to live them?
Well,
And
the
that's
first thing you got to know what you want, and that's the key thing. Once you understand what you want to do, then you after you have that, then you just decide to do it, and that's it. It really it's really that simple. You know, like
yeah, yeah.
I'm like I've done all of these things, and I'm catching everybody up to what I've done. But like I'm on a whole nother journey now. Like, you know what I mean? I found another, still in music, but I found another passion. And I'm the same steps that I did that. I wrote it down. I was like, man, by the end of this year, shoot, by the end of last year, I was like, I want to do this and I want to showcase this and I'm good at that. And I want to, and I just started doing it. I literally, you know, I have mentors, but I literally have, I got with some people that I know can help me get it done.
That's the
And
answer.
and
Right.
my question that I have, you know, for my friends, because we all challenge each other, and we like you said, accountability partners. Listen, we ain't gonna talk about the same thing for the hope for 3 years. Is it done or not? Or are you been talking about this show? Cool. Is it done? How long? Like, what do you need? You need resources. You need, what do you need so we can get these things done? You know, so that's just where I'm at.
Well, you understand and you live it, that's that part of that entertainment lingo where people will constantly talk about what they're trying to do, but you never hear back from them of them actually doing it. You
Right.
know, they want you to be a part of it, but then wait, all right, so well, hit me back when you get started. You know, like now I'm
Right.
doing these motivational speaking things, and people say, "Hey, I want to start this thing with you. I want you to be a part of this thing." And I always answer the same because I grew up as an entertainer. I grew up a dancer, choreographer, and then I became an MC. So I'm used to hearing that lingo. Hey, I want you to be a part of something, but I'm like, I keep it simple. You get it started, and I'm guaranteed to join in.
Oh my
You
goodness.
get it
I'm
started. Go
so
ahead,
glad you said
talk,
that. No, I'm so
talk.
glad that you said that because that's where I was 2019. And I was like, listen, I got my goals and I have my things. I'll help you as much as I can, but you have to start your own thing. Because I'm busy over here and I'm not gonna you know, I'll help as much, but I'm not gonna stop my show to watch your show. You know what I mean? Like I gotta do what I need to do for myself. So it's so funny that you said that.
But it's perfect because see when that person gets the glimpse of the thing that's moving them,
Mhm.
that's their job to make it
Yeah.
come to life. And
Yeah.
I'm already telling you, you have my help. You have my attention. You have my help. When you start it and you start to do it, I will be a part of it. But I can't stop doing what I'm doing to help you build your own dream.
This is
But
what I'm
when you're ready to live it, when you are ready to put this into production,
saying.
I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
here.
I watch this. I always study the masters, so I pay attention to a lot of the celebrities that I follow. People like Steve Harvey. I watched it's a motivational speech that he did, and he talked about jumping. And
Yes.
I know you saw this. So that's what
Yes.
it is. You just gotta jump. That's what I did. You know, I'm gonna. I don't want to spoil one of the stories that I don't want to spoil it, but I said that I wanted to be on the radio. I was like looking at everything that was happening. I said, "This is cool, but I want to do that. This is cool, and I like this, but I want to do that. I want to be James Jamerson, who is he played bass on all of the Motown records, all of these classic records that
Ooh.
he's the bass player, and I was like, man, I want to do that. And then you know what I mean? I don't want to give away the story, but I
Give it
wrote it down.
away, bro. Because it's going to
Well,
make people follow you to look for it. We want
Well,
to get to that
well, what I would
story.
say is like I wrote it down what it takes to do it and what I'm willing to sacrifice to do it. And I literally on one instant I said I got the call and I got a call from LA and they were like, "Yo, we're working on this album." But when I was like, "That's the opportunity." Now, do you want it or don't you? And I said, "You know what? I want it." So I took my own money found I couldn't even really afford the flight at the time, but I called some friends, got some passes. No, the passes were canceled, but I was able to find a flight. It was like one of those, one of those flights. got my ass there, played on them records, and now we're here. I was
Now
willing
we're
to do
here.
that. You know, I worked with I was doing some consulting for a guy that's a videographer. And he kept telling me how he wanted to work with celebrities and he wanted to do this and that and be on tour and and film them. I said, well, I can make that happen for you. I can introduce you to some people that will help you. Now, here's the thing. And I gave him a scenario. I said, say I get you a gig with this major artist, right?
Right.
And they say, all right, we're locked and loaded for 3 to 4 months. We're gonna take care of your room and board and your food, but we won't pay you. And he was like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that, this and that. And I was like, well, you have to be very specific in what you're saying, what you want. You know, you can't say that you want this with these stipulations. You got to be very, very clear. So, like, I'm very clear in my approach. I know that I want to, when I tour, I want to make this kind of money. When I play on a record, I want to make this kind of money. Like, it's like, this is the number in my head. Now,
Yeah,
you could
definitely.
supersede that number. You could double it. But this is the number that I want, you know? So, like,
Right.
clear intention is very important. And that's it.
No,
You know?
you hit two things that I want to talk about. One, what were you willing to sacrifice to get there? So often we're so set on achieving something, going after something, but we also have to understand that when we plan on growing, whenever we plan on growing, that means we're also let going. If we plan on growing, we're also deciding to let go of
Yeah.
some stuff. What are you willing to let go of that's no longer serving you to reach that goal, to reach that dream?
For me, it was relationships. It was certain relationships where I was like, you know what, um I have to let go of these relationships because they're not on the same page. They were, you know what I mean? Like, I'm someplace else.
Hello, you're talking to another entertainer. Come on, talk to me.
Right.
We
It's
want to
like, yo,
know.
listen, that's basically what it was. I remember being in a relationship and I got called. I've been waiting, and I got called to do like a 3-month tour, a gospel tour. And that person told me, she was like, no, you can't go on tour. Like, that's too long. And I was like, yo, this is like my dream. This is what I wanted to do. And it was a gospel tour and I auditioned and nailed it. And she had a very serious problem with that. And I had to let that go. I mean, this was years ago, you know what I'm saying?
Right. But this is the
But
stuff people need to understand.
yeah,
This is
that was something that I had to let go. Also, just recently I watched I watch a lot of interviews. I don't watch television. I watch interviews and the masters and the people that are successful. So I watched the Kobe Bryant interview and he talked about how, like, yo, listen, people think I'm an a-hole. He says, like, I have my intentions clear, what I want to do, and I know what needs to get done. And you're gonna sacrifice. You're gonna lose some friends behind that. But he knew that 6 a.m. he had, you know what I'm saying? It's him, his coach. He was doing what he needed to do. Then he would practice with the team, but he made it a lifestyle, and that's what I'm doing. Like, my bass is always is right here, or my production, or my key bass, or what. Like, it's a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's a lifestyle of what I'm bringing to the table. And once I made it a lifestyle, the doors opened up. This is me
now
24/7. Like,
right, but how has that now been like for relationships? How have you been able to find your niche where you can now you've found that person who will understand your movements? Because you got to understand that's if this is the real you, there is going to be people that will fit that lifestyle.
Yeah, no, God will definitely. God has brought a lot of great people into my life. And it if it works, again, clear intentions. These are my goals, and this is what I'm trying to do. And if that doesn't work with you, that's okay. And you have to be in love. That's something I learned that in Momentum. You have to be in love with yourself, and also watching an Abraham Hicks video. This is like, yo, people like, you're mad at me because I'm more focused on me than you. You know what I mean? Like, you have to get clear intentions, like what you want, what do I want to do? Because this is my life. This is what I have to do. You feel what I'm
Correct.
saying?
Oh, I completely understand. The second part of what you brought up was being clear in the specifics of what you want if you get a job. Because today, I told myself I'm taking 10 days off of stream watching any type of movies and stuff. 10 days off because I want to get into more of the meat and potatoes and the legal side of my business. So
Right.
today I spent time reading over tax forms, reading over contracts,
Right.
and the contracts we're talking about, you got to be extremely specific. How much do you want to pay? What hours? What time you're going on? How many shows you're going to do in that particular contract? You're going to also talk about the cost. Are they paying for your trip there and your hotel space and cancellations? What happens in case of Oh, go ahead, show us. Show
No,
us.
no,
You
no, no,
flipping
no, no, no.
pages.
You talk,
But
talk, talk.
but that's, you have to be that specific, because when you sign that and there's a whole lot of gray area, you can't be mad when they assume something.
Right.
You can't be mad at them. So as
Right.
you were telling the guy who's willing to want to get into this video production, but's not willing to settle for room and board.
Listen,
Like room and board, I give you room and board,
listen. Let me tell you
and a
something.
little bit of
I
pocket money.
when I got out there to that session and I flew out there, not only did I didn't have a hotel, I have a place to stay. I slept on the floor.
Well, we're in
Right.
entertainers. We're okay with that. We are okay with that.
I live, and I had to come to grips that, and I it's trying to explain this to my regular friends, like they don't get it, like how I got a suitcase in my car with a bass right now, just in case, because I'll get a call like, hey, yo, Nate, yo, we got this gig, you got a tux, you got a blazer, or hey, Nate, yo, we going to Africa, like knowing how to like pack for a 2-month tour in 30 minutes. These
Yep.
experiences that, man, people can't relate to this. They don't know. They don't know what it feels like. Me, like,
Bro,
being
if I would,
hotel,
if I were to walk you upstairs to my room, you will see I have a suitcase on my floor, half packed.
Bro, it's a suitcase. I'm looking at it right now, and it's half packed.
That's
I got
it.
the toiletries is in there. I got some clean underwear, and I got black on. We good. I got a coat. We ready.
Yeah. And mind you, I haven't done a gig since March, and it's implanted. It's a part of who I am.
Yeah.
It's a part of who I drive. I have a blow up bed in my car that always stays in my car. It stays in my car. It stays in my car.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because that's my mindset.
I don't have a blow up bed, but I got a cooler.
Well, done. Well, I have too many coolers. Too many coolers.
Like
I used to, funny, but when I was a dancer, in my backpack, because everything was backpack back then, I always had extra underwear, t-shirt, socks, toothbrush, toothpaste. Because you don't know where you're going to end for the night. You don't know. You might be jamming and partying and doing whatever till way in the morning. You want to fresh a little bit.
It's a different lifestyle.
It is. It's different.
And it's hard to really explain it. So I can't really explain it unless you ask these questions. Like either you don't. But again, accountability and being prepared. So once I understood that I wanted to tour, I was like, okay, what are these people doing that they're touring? All right, so I got my gear together as far as like my the kind of equipment that I wanted. Then I was like, oh shoot, what do you need to try? Oh, let me get my passport. I had a passport 7 years before I even traveled and used it.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So, and this is just me just paying attention and asking myself these questions. And then also I had a great support system. I mean, when my mom was alive, like I'm Faye Jones, like that was another thing. And you couldn't like, how do I say that? I didn't care. Like you couldn't trick me or anything. Cause I knew like I would try stuff. If it didn't work out, I can come back home and my mom would be like, don't worry about it. We're going to try something else. So once I found a liking in music, like everybody was like, okay, because let me just let you know, I was bad as hell. I was just a guy in the Bronx. I was a boy in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? People like I heard you talking about people was playing CeeLo, people was playing, was playing basketball. I did all of that, but I also would like find like jump rope and would get a hanger and make the thing like the G.I. Joe, and I would go in the woods over there and I would like swing up and try to swing from it. I was, doing backflips off mattresses and all of the above. I was wild, man.
And abandoned buildings, jumping from the thing down into mattresses. Yeah.
I was like, why are you up there? Why I'm climbing stuff that you ain't supposed to be climbing? Like I was just, just being a boy. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And
I'll tell you this much: having that sense of adventure has shaped you.
Yeah.
Having that sense of adventure, Yes, I understand, you know, how black love is. When you're with your parent, you better not move from this space right here when I tell you not to move from this space. But it's the sense of when we had that freedom and that adventure is how we shaped our minds and our lives and the way we saw ourselves, and our interactions became so much more freeing because we had that freedom to run. And you can laugh about the projects life because that's the life I lived as a kid. Like, you, when you're living it, you're not seeing all the negative
No,
stuff
you
that
don't
people will
know.
talk about.
You're
You're just
in it.
living. You're just everyday
Yeah.
life, and and having those freedoms, you know, where my parents didn't have to watch me. You know, if the ice cream truck is coming, I scream at them, "Ma!" Scream up to the 10th floor window. Mom throws down some money and some Reynolds wrap so I could go to the ice cream truck. Like, those memories will stay with me. But playing, you know, hunt with all your friends, you have 20 friends, and we go get lost in the trees and the buildings, and we all have to try to find each other and play. And that stuff, it lent itself to show me some type of a freedom. And now I'm a kid, I'm a little kid, but it showed me a sense of adventure. It showed me a sense of stand up and think and keep thinking, how can I escape? How can I get away? How can I figure out how to get up in that tree? And you know how back in the days, those fences didn't have the regular fences. Each square was about that big, so you couldn't climb those fences in the Bronx.
You make it work.
That's
You
right.
make it
You
work.
make it work.
But
You make
shouts
it
to everyone. I
work.
see a lot of people in the comments, like a lot of my friends are here. My boy
Yeah, yeah. Give
DJ
him some,
Dez,
give him some
Lion is
love. Give him
here.
some love.
Chase Corner's in here. My boy Divine Touch is in here. And I know we're gonna get into this right here. So shouts to Chase Corner.
Can
We're
you
gonna, we
talk
gonna,
about
we
that
gonna
right now?
Okay,
Can you
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about that?
So
Yeah,
this is
talk about that.
these are the musicians are essential. We have the musicians are essential, and we have the
And
music is
music.
essential. Is because I wanted everybody to be a part of that. And it was a time where, obviously during the quarantine, where everybody was talking about the essential workers, and I have family members that are essential workers. So shouts to the essential workers. We appreciate you and love you. But I also felt that musicians were essential as well, because when I do a show, my purpose in doing that show is to make people forget about their problems, forget about these things that they're going through, and really take them on a musical journey. They don't even know that they're on a musical journey. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
that's something, one of my mentors, he was like, yo, music is healing. We're healing people. We're time travelers. We're healing people. So I've always felt that. So when I heard that, I was like, man, I feel like musicians are essential. During the quarantine, I couldn't, thank God it was like I had to sit still because I had an injury to my shoulder that I couldn't really play. I couldn't lift anything. So during these times, I was able to sit and create and like build. That's where the stories from the road came from. That's where the musicians are essential. And I got like 7 other things that I created that you'll see, but I don't like to talk about it until it's finished. So I got with my partner, Shayla with Shay's Corner, and we already had a shirt, the Turn Up the Bass shirt, but she helped me bring this thing to life, and literally, like, it's been taking the world by storm.
Heck yeah.
It's been taking the world by storm, because between the music is essential and the musicians are essential, man. Like, everyone really appreciates the message. Entertainers and musicians, and they have not been able to perform, and
Right.
it's
That it hits us hard.
it's something to really keep their spirits up and let them know that they are appreciated, that we are appreciated, that they are appreciated. And like I said, it's been taking the world by storm. And
Right.
my goal is, I definitely want to make my goal. I wrote it down after we created and got everything on the shirt, and I was like, listen, I want to make 6 figures off of this shirt while spreading my message. Like, I'm very clear of what I want to make, who I want to get it to. And like I said, we have a lot of celebrities in the shirt, but like when we're dealing with musicians and music, like, I just feel like everybody's a celebrity. I don't really like to separate, you know what I mean? It's just
That's
like,
good. That's
they
right.
put on pants just like us. The difference between you and them is that they reached a higher level because they completed their goal. You feel me?
Right.
So there is no, listen, you're the same.
Thank you.
You can do
Thank
the
you,
same
bro.
thing.
When I think about the musicians are essential, it makes me think of how I say that music is my love language. It's my
Wow.
love language.
Wow.
Music is, Yes, you have your ways of connecting with the world around you, but that freedom, that free of mind, and to let go of whatever you're living in the situation, it's music. Music is the thing that takes you on that journey. You know, when those songs hit, well, back in the days we saw those oh shit songs, like oh
Oh,
shit,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
I don't mean to curse, sorry guys.
No, that's all good. Yeah, yeah.
But you know that's what we called them back then. You know, it's that journey. Hearing music,
Right,
it feeds you. It feeds you. So it is essential. It
right,
is essential. Is the point I'm trying to make, that
right.
people need it. Also, another point for anybody out there that's endeavoring to do something, understand when you're losing yourself in watching TV or listening to stuff on the radio and not actively doing something to pursue your goal, you're looking at people, you're listening to people that are already living their dreams. These are people that are already out there living their dreams. They're actors that are living their dreams. They're musicians that are living their dreams. Why are you not out there living your dream? I had to catch myself. Like, I could binge watch a TV show and I'm like, wait. I'm watching a bunch of people who's living their dreams and I'm not doing anything right now to live my dream.
You know, so not to cut you off, but it's so funny that you say that because that's how I felt about the Super Bowl. I was like, man, I'm not about to watch these millionaires do it. Like, I'm good. While everybody was watching that and doing that, I wrote 3 records. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna finish this you know, I got a lot of stuff happening. But I'll say one of the things where like I'm doing film scoring for a bunch of documentaries and stuff like that, and that's like one of my new passions. And the calls have been coming in. You know what I mean? Like, people don't even know that side of it, of what I do. But anyway, they'll learn as they go. So the stories from the road and those things, that stuff is like that's to catch you up. So you can understand where I'm at. So that stuff is there. It's just, you know, I've done that. Now I'm on to the next thing. So
Are you still building? Are you still building episodes for?
Yeah. I don't even want to tell you my process because, like I said, I've been blessed to work with a lot of celebrities, so my brain works differently. And I'll give you a story. Like, you know, people know I work with Trey for about
Trey
10 years,
Songz.
and just watching. I'm a student, so my mind is different. Like, it doesn't take all this time. The conversation is, hey, Shay's Corner, look, I got this idea. This is what I'm thinking. Boom, boom, boom. This is the next day. This is like, you know what I'm saying? Like two
Yes.
days, and I got something on my back. You feel me? It's different. You know what? I want to start a project. Boom, boom. Last week, I went in. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, 6 songs. I'm like, watching people like Trey has been amazing because, like, I see him go in the studio, do a bunch of songs, and then the ones that he's like, okay, cool. And then while they're mixing and fixing the song, he's off doing the video.
Yeah.
So
Shout
like,
out to his road manager, Jojo Brim.
yeah, shout to Joe. Yeah, Jojo, that's the fam. You already know. He's momentum too. You already know that. You
Now,
know
of
what I'm
course, and
saying?
he's also Mount Vernon. He's also Mount
Oh
Vernon. Come
yeah.
on
Jojo,
now.
that's family right there, man. So it's just watching these guys and like, so my brain works like that. So when I create something, it's just like, yo, boom. You know what I
Right.
mean?
You have gifted yourself the visions to see other people succeeding. You got to see it, and
Yes.
you clearly know what it
I know
takes
what it takes to get it.
to achieve it. So
Yeah.
anyone out there, like how I mentioned, DJ Believe, you know, that's what you got to do. Find the circles that you could place yourself in. Remember, we talk about this over and over on my show. Look at the 5 people that you have surrounded yourself with, who you interact with the most. You're
Right.
never going to rise. You're never going to rise higher than your closest 5.
Exactly.
So you got to keep finding new circles, new people to rub shoulders with so you can keep rising higher. Now, those people who know you well are the people that are going to check you. They're going to kind of speak to you, but they're going to check you in a place that, because you might be rising and they might not clearly see your vision, but at least they're going to bring it up to you so you could explain yourself. And being able to explain yourself, it gives that life. It gives it life because you truly believe in the things that you're speaking. So you might have gone a little bit off, But if I could clarify, tell you my thoughts behind it, it might make sense to you, and you can see that how right it is.
Right.
Not that
And
you
then,
need other people's approval, but it's okay to be checked. You want people to check you. Go ahead, Nate.
yeah, and I want to add on to that. For me, mentors, having mentors, and then also just a point for people to think about. Your boss is never gonna pay you more money than him to live on his block. He not gonna do that. He or
Nope.
she's not gonna do that. So you're gonna have to go do it yourself. Now, thank God, I have like 5 to 6 mentors that when I have these ideas, like I trust them, and they give me the real deal. They be like, okay, what is the goal? What are you trying to do? All right, cool. And then me, because I'm Faye Jones' son, I'm getting it done. You know, I don't want to spill the beans, but like even yesterday, I wasn't feeling well. No, not well. I wasn't feeling well mentally. I was just like in this weird fog, and I'm just like, ugh. And I got the call, hey Nate, you want to work on this record? And I'm like, man, I don't feel like it. This and that. And then my enemy came in, you know, spoke to me, was like, yo, listen, you said you wanted to do this. So I got my behind up, got dressed, got my bass, got my stuff. I drove about an hour and a half towards Long Island.
Long Island, yep, I know.
And then like I asked myself, you know, what did you in my book? What did you do to get closer to your goals? And hey, is it done or not? And yesterday I got it done. You know what I'm saying? It's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the world is gonna hear that soon. The world's gonna hear that like soon.
All right,
So
yo,
I'm really excited about that too. So.
guys, come on, show some heart, show some love for my boy Nate Jones on bass. Come on. Remember, once again, you could catch him on YouTube on Stories from the Road with Nate Jones on bass. You could also check out his t-shirts. You got to purchase that. Cop that. Musicians are essential, as well as music is essential. Of course, I'm not going to forget none of that, bro. Not going to forget that. You know, I want to take this time out to thank you because I know your schedule is crazy. We got momentum in the house. Huh? We got momentum. People showing out.
Yeah, momentum. What's up? So
Nadia,
I want to say this though, because
me.
a lot of people don't know this. So I took the momentum course with my brother and some of my friends here on the chat, and I got introduced to momentum about 12 years ago. I didn't know what it was. I went to the orientation, and I was just like, okay, this is cool, but my mind was so focused on like my career and what I wanted to do. I wasn't even there. Fast forward 10 years. What year was that we did? That was 2020.
That was last year. Early last year.
So early last year I took that course, and when I tell you it was thank God for momentum in that course, because it was life-changing, because I needed it was like almost taking like 4 days. We did 4 days. It was like having 20 years, it was like having 2 years of therapy.
Well, it uprooted some stuff.
I had no idea that I had so much trauma, because like I said, I lost a lot of people in my life, and that I didn't realize that I was carrying that. And what I would do to get out of that, I would work harder. So I'm always moving, but I never dealt with the depths of my mom, my sister, my cat. You know what I'm saying?
I remember your story, bro.
So I was just really, really great. And even going into momentum, I purposely didn't want people to know what I've done, who I'm associated with, because most people, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one ever asks about me. They be like, you know, it's not, hey, Nate works with these people. That's the first thing people say. They don't say, oh, he's a Grammy nominated bass player, and he's well equipped, he's schooled, he's this and this. You know what I'm saying? They go for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is cool. It's a human thing to do. You know what I mean? But like at some point, I want people.
You cut off.
I do this bass thing. You know, we do wonders. I do this bass thing, man. We do wonders. This is my magic wand. I can control a room with this thing. I could change your whole perspective and thoughts with this thing right here. And I've done it. And it's so funny. We were in the studio yesterday. We were working on this song, and I was like, nah, that bass line. I knew exactly what the response would be to the bass line, as far as physically, how people would move to the bass line. And the engineer was looking at me like, what is, like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, that bass line makes people do this. This bass line makes people like set a little bit back. And depending on how I want them to move, because I'm gonna take your mind off of whatever you're thinking about anyway. I got you. As soon as I got you with this, you know, and that's my gift. And that's why I say musicians are essential, and the healing process, like, it's purposely done. I'm not, you know, when
Nate, people are saying play for us, Nate. They're saying play for us.
Listen, that's pay-per-view. That's pay-per-view over here. My cash app is Nate Jones on bass. You know what I'm saying? Throw the cash app up there and I'll play a little line for you. But you know, that's how invested and involved I'm into it. Like, what sound that I'm gonna use to make you move, or to make you like react a certain way. And I know people, that's not normal. And we, you know, here we live in New York. So New York is just, what I love about my city is that New Yorkers, everybody's doing their thing. So
yes,
you got to be extraordinary to get some credit around here in New York. You know, you got your boys to be like, oh yeah, he's cool. Yeah, that's my bro. Like, I can do a world tour and come back and they be like, oh, that's Nate. All right, yeah, come on. Like, they treat me. They don't care about none of that.
None.
They don't. That's why people from around the world, they'll come here to New York, and I've seen it with my own eyes, and they think that they're the best. They are the best in their city. But when you come here,
it's a whole different ball game.
The person that's waiting the tables is 10 times better than just they just happen to be waiting tables. They are 10 times better than you. So New York is a very serious place, and not even to mention it's very expensive. Because I was making good money, but I was like, where the hell is all my money going? But I realized it costs, you know, it's different from living Atlanta or down south here.
Completely different.
Right? So that's my story with that, you know.
And you're sticking to it.
I start rambling and getting into my bag.
But it's good, yo. Don't you understand? We want to hear this type of stuff. But I gotta close it out because we're already reached our hour or something mark. But I want to, you know, yo, it's good. I mean, you want to give some love to Chef Lioness out there, all my Momentum people, Lalita, Fatima. I see you guys out there. Appreciate you guys showing up. Also, keep in mind that I want you to reach out to Nate Jones. Join him on social media. I believe it's Nate Jones on bass. You can find him on every single social media. And also, guys, if you're new to me, I'm GunterMan from Soapbox Stand Up and Speak. This is my show. Please join me on my social medias, Soapbox Stand Up and Speak, Soapbox Stand Up and Speak, and also All Access Rick. So, yo, guys, I want to take this time out. But thank you so much for being a part of our show. You have gleaned something from this man. I know you did. I know you're doing some takeaway. Remember, once again, if you're not living your dream, constantly push yourself to not watch other people who are living their dreams, but to dare to go and live it for you. Go out there. And yes, there's going to be some sacrifices. Understand it. In order for you to go, there has to be some let goes. In order for you to grow, there has to be some let goes. Some things you're just going to have to let go and keep on pursuing it. Right. And if you live your dream, if you dare to live your dream, all the things that you have in that head of yours, those deep desires, absolutely shall come to pass.
Yes, sir.
Nate, any closing remarks you want to say, baby? Anything you want to say?
Follow me on all social media platforms, Nate Jones on bass. I have a lot of products coming. I have a lot of shows coming. And just keep up with me. Follow Taste the Stage. Much love. Hit me up. Let's build. I want to build, you know?
Done. Guys, have a great night. Once again, thank you for coming to the GunterMan Show. We only know what we know, and what we know isn't everything there is to know. So I will glean from you, you will glean from me, and together we will grow. All right, peace, guys. Take care. Right, Nate, love you, bro. We'll network after this.
Yeah, cool.
Peace.